Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Nair. I am the Senior Fashion Editor at Editorialist, and today we're going to be talking about cashmere. So for those who aren't familiar, cashmere is a kind of fiber that grows on goats that live in countries with very harsh winters like China, Mongolia, and Iran. And because of this cold weather, they're able to grow this incredibly warm but also very fine coat. And that's much more desirable for a sweater than, say, an itchier wool from a sheep that might be a little bulkier as well in the fit. So the problem with cashmere is that it's very hard to actually tell if it's a quality product unless you try it out. The issue is that the fiber length is really what determines that quality and how long it'll last in your closet. So if it's a longer and narrower fiber, then it's a high-grade cashmere product and you'll get years of wear out of it. But if it's wider and it's shorter, then it's gonna pill up pretty quickly and you won't be able to wear it as long. That being said, it can be really difficult to just tell with the human eye whether or not you're getting a quality product. So what we're gonna do is test 6 different cashmere sweaters across all different price points to see which will become an heirloom piece that you'll pass on for years and which might just wind up in the donate pile. Okay, let's walk through the sweaters that we did select. We know you're not actually supposed to hang cashmere, so don't worry, this is just for the experiment. So this is Nadam's $75 sweater. It's completely democratized the cashmere space, making a really affordable option, whereas usually they were always over $500. It comes in a ton of different colorways, which is really fun, and it claims that it'll never pill after the first pilling session because of the length of the fibers they're using. So we'll find out when we test it. This sweater here is from Everlane. It's $165 and it comes in a nice ribbed turtleneck cut. It's actually also made from recycled cashmere yarn, and the packaging is super sustainable as well. So that was kind of why we chose this one, to see if the recycled cashmere was gonna hold up the same way as the other ones. So this next one is from Naked Cashmere, and Naked Cashmere champions this idea that cashmere isn't something that you just buy, it's something that you collect, which I really like. So this sweater right here goes for $295. It's kind of in a similar cut to that Everlane sweater. What I really love about this brand too is that they're certified for being sustainable, fair trade, and they also follow animal welfare guidelines, which is really important whenever you're dealing with any type of animal product. So this next sweater that we have here is from Theory. It is a $325 cashmere sweater, which is in that nice middle market range. I really love this asymmetrical cut. I think it's gonna look really nice on, so we'll see. But they make really great, quietly luxe pieces, and I think this is gonna be one of my favorites. So next up, we have Kate. Kate is kind of a really fun, trend-forward player in the cashmere space. They had this Ida bralette that really went viral in 2019, so they're used to working with cashmere in ways that are kind of interesting. This is definitely a more traditional sweater for them, but they source all of their cashmere from China and Mongolia, and then they spin it into yarn in Italy. So excited to see how this one looks. So this last one is our highest price point cashmere sweater. It is from Loro Piana and it's $1,000. What's really exciting about Loro Piana is that they're kind of like the Rolls Royce of cashmere brands, and they've pioneered baby cashmere and a lot of different developments in this cashmere space. So it's a really fine gauge knit shirt. It almost feels more like a shirt than a sweater, I'd say. I think it'd look really great with a pair of trousers and a belt worn to work or just hanging out. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it looks. All right, now that you guys are acquainted with our picks, let's try some sweaters on. Okay, so this is Nadam's $75 sweater again. I really think for somebody who likes a less oversized fit, something a little bit more tailored, this is gonna probably be the sweater for them. I like how it hits at the wrist right in the perfect spot, and the same thing over here with the hemline at the hips. The colorways are super fun too. I'm really excited about the fact that there's dozens and dozens of them, so if I wanted to get something for the whole family this holiday season, let's say, I know what I'm doing. One thing to take into account about this one is that it's not as sheer as some of the other knits I've tried. I don't personally have a problem with it. I kind of like that opacity, but definitely worth taking into account that it is a little bit more opaque and probably a little bit less breathable for that reason. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so this is Everlane's $165 sweater. Again, this is the one with the recycled cashmere yarn. It's definitely a chunkier fit. It reminds me a little bit more of that sheep's wool sweater that I described earlier, but I do like the ribbed detailing. I think it has a lot of trend-forward elements here that might make it a fun purchase for one season. I'm curious to see how it holds up though, and if it's something like as versatile as a typical crew style, that might be a years-long kind of thing. But in terms of feel, I really like this waffle knit. it. I think it's interesting. It feels nice on the skin, but definitely heavier. This is not a knit I could wear in the summertime, let's say. So this is the Naked Cashmere $295 sweater. My immediate thought was just how nice that hand feel is. It has this really soft, buttery texture, which I love. I also really like where this hemline is hitting. It has this kind of nice boxy fit, which I tend to gravitate towards a little bit anyway. And this colorway is really nice. It's this chocolatey hue that's really trendy right now, so I can see myself wearing it a lot. Okay, so this is Theory's $325 sweater, and I'm instantly obsessed with it. I really love how the sleeves have this nice elongated feel, but I really love this neckline and that asymmetrical cut. It feels very romantic, like something I'd wear on a date night, for example. And in terms of the softness, it's totally perfect. Okay, so this is Loro Piana's $1,000 sweater. I immediately just associated this one with the Nadam sweater because they have that same kind of cut, the same crew neckline, and also just that more tailored fit all around. But this sweater has a lot of interesting details, like these split cuffs right here, which adds something fun. And also they have this plate detail over on the side, which shows the brand's name, which I thought was really interesting. It has this much more slender feel. The sweater is not bulky at all. A few of the other ones had a chunkier knit to them, but the fine gauge of this is really remarkable, and it says a lot about their cashmere quality in itself, that they were just able to achieve such a tight garment. So I'm really excited to wear this with blazers and other things like that. So that's it. These are all the sweaters that I'm gonna be trying over the next few weeks. I'm gonna be wearing them everywhere from Fashion Week to working from home, just kind of seeing how they hold up and evolve and hopefully get a little bit warmer and softer over time. So let's see how they do. Okay, so for this next step, we are going to be putting the $1,000 Loro Piana sweater into the wash, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because anytime I've personally ever put cashmere in the washing machine, it's really never gone very well. Getting cashmere fibers wet is kind of a risky situation, but they say this is the way to wash it, so we're gonna find out. I've got this wonderful soap from the laundress, which I use their dryer bags. I use so many of their different pieces. It's a woolen cashmere shampoo and it's cedar scented, which is really great. You're supposed to put 8 capfuls in if you're using a non-HE washer. So I'm gonna do that now and we'll see what happens. It's all set. We need to put it on the delicate or woolen cycle. My washing machine has a delicate cycle only, so we'll use that one, making sure that the temperature is cold. Let's see here, I have to turn the sweater inside out. The moment of truth. I'm going to keep the spin speed super low, just because I get a little bit nervous. Okay, it's ready to go. Okay, so it looks like our laundry service here at the hotel actually hung up these sweaters. I guess they didn't get the memo about cashmere not being hung. So we'll see if this affects the shape of them at all when I put them on, but you can kind of see that there's a little bit of the drooping happening here already. So hopefully we can recover it and it's not too much of a big deal. Let's see what else we have. Welcome back. We have been testing these sweaters over the past several weeks. Each of them have also gone through the wash a couple of times by now. So we have a little bit of a better sense of how they do hold up over time. In terms of the overall grading for these sweaters, I was ranking them on 7 different categories. Those were fit, pilling, softness, scratchiness, price point, size inclusivity, and sustainability. So across all of those categories, my best pick is Naked Cashmere's truffle colored sweater. So this one at $295 is really just such a remarkable luxury product. I really love the cloud soft feel of it. It was one of those knits that were really easy to style and layer under and over different pieces. I cannot say enough about this sweater. It is just so unbelievably soft, and it really did get softer with each wear, which is kind of incredible because it already was very soft. I love the cut of it. I love where the ribbing detail would land. This is one of the sweaters that, as much as I tried to test these the exact equal amount, I just kept wanting to wear this one more and more. And I love that they've done that work to become animal welfare certified and also sustainable and ethical. The one thing they do need to work on is that size run, so they lost points for that, but everything else was almost a 10 out of 10. All right, here's what takes the cake in the other categories. So for the best lightweight knit, definitely going to be Loro Piana's $1,000 sweater. It really was just that perfect basic piece if you do want to stay warm and you're spending the day walking through the park or outside and you don't want to be in a bunch of bulky layers. This is your knit. It definitely is super insulating, super lightweight still at the same time. The thing with this sweater is that the washing process was actually very involved. You have to actually put it in the washing machine per the instructions. So as you saw, I had to go through that whole ordeal. Definitely took a long time, was a little bit tricky to get that cocktail of soap just right, but it's a work in progress, so hopefully next time it'll be a little easier. After coming out of the wash too, I noticed that the cuffs had a little bit of curling going on. Another thing with the detailing that happened right away before any washing was that this plate on the edge came off, which, you know, was a little bit disappointing to see given that price point. So it did lose points there, and also because the cost is quite high, it lost points for cost effectiveness. But it's a beautifully constructed sweater, and it's definitely one that would be in my wardrobe for years, but it might just need some maintenance. Also, one last thing, in terms of the pilling, it hasn't even needed to be depilled yet. Why fix what's not broken? So we'll see when it needs to, but for now, it looks pretty good. All right, so next up, the best affordable cashmere sweater. Absolutely has to be Nadam's $75 knit. Again, they were the ones to initially democratize the entire cashmere game by creating this sweater, and they've really been working to get that fit just right over time, giving it the right updates so that it feels really sleek and luxury. And I have to say, it is super soft. Like, I did love putting this on every single time. I'm curious to see how that itching does improve, and if it does improve, but I think it's safe to say that if you do want to get a gift for everyone in the family and you wanted to go with cashmere, this is the one to go for. Next up, the best everyday cashmere sweater. Definitely going to be Kate's all black Mary Jane sweater. I really do think that it's important to have a basic knit that is black and just goes with everything. And this is one that you can really wear multiple different ways, and that is because of the length of the sleeves, which allow it to be tied over your shoulders and to be worn under a trench. And they just have all these different sophisticated ways to wear it. And I think that really makes this one a standout for me, even more so than the other black cashmere sweaters that I own in my own rotation. That said though, the pilling was a definite problem here. It needed the depilling probably after the first or second wear even. I did depill them all at the same time, which for some, they didn't even really need it at the time, which was at the end of the experiment. But this one, it took 6 minutes to depill, which in comparison to, for example, the Theory sweater, which took half of the time, definitely more substantial in terms of the care, and it probably could use another depill right now. Next up, the best sustainable cashmere sweater. Definitely has to be Everlane's recycled cashmere knit. It's one thing to be sustainable and to, make sure your carbon footprint is very neutral and do all that great work, making sure that you're taking care of the animals that you're sourcing from. But there's really nothing quite as sustainable as using an entirely recycled material to create a product. And that's something really marvelous that Everlane has been able to accomplish. But I do have my issues with it. I think that the texture of this recycled cashmere is just not really as soft and cushy as the type of texture that I look for when I shop for cashmere personally. But that said, that waffle texture and that recycled knit really did cut down on the pilling quite a bit. It took me maybe 2 minutes to pill this entire sweater, which is pretty impressive. And it did get softer with each wear, which I'm excited to see if that continues to improve over time, but it's still miles behind the other sweaters in terms of that softness. The best sweater for special occasions, definitely this knit from Theory. I have to say, of all these beautiful knits, none of them really felt like something that I could wear into, a fine dining setting or something that was really polished. I noticed that it did substantially shrink after that second dry clean, which is not really supposed to happen, but that can kind of happen when there is heat applied to any cashmere. The other sweaters didn't have any shrinkage, so I definitely took that into account for Theory. Plus, I've had other Theory pieces that have done the same thing. So it wasn't exactly news, but it's something that I think is worth considering if you want to buy with this brand to size up a bit. I also definitely noticed that this was harder to integrate into my wardrobe just because of the cut. It's not really as timeless. It definitely needs a special occasion. It's also quite sheer, which can be fine for cashmere, but sheer and white don't really go that well together. So if I wanted to wear a slip skirt underneath, it would just show right through. Definitely the same thing for bras as well. So made it trickier to integrate, but I do love the cut. It has a really sophisticated feel, and it didn't pill up very much either, which was a bonus in my book. That's my full review of these cashmere sweaters. For more details and to shop for these pieces, you can head to editorialist.com.